which one of the teams that you have involved with in Australia national team that you enjoy the most? Can you name one?
Ooh.
That maybe you have...
It gives you the most satisfaction.
give you the most satisfaction.
Can I give you a few different answers on this
Yeah,
one?
fair enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the World Cup that we went to in 2014, Brazil, is like a dream for any player, a dream for any coach, dream for anybody, right? We had people say the group of death for us. We were looking at like the group of opportunity because you've had 3 of the top 10 in our group, Spain, Holland, and Chile. And to prepare for that, to go toe to toe with those type of opponents was something I'll never forget, because that was the start of our project, really, you know. And we put a stamp on the way we played in that World Cup. Unfortunately, didn't win a game, but we definitely put a stamp on to say this is what we're going to play, this is how we're going to play, no matter who we play against, and we went for it. So from that perspective, the World Cup was like something I'll never forget.
In Brazil,
Yeah, in Brazil. Then, I mean, we're talking about the journey of the Socceroos now, because how can you forget about the Asian Cup?
Yeah.
And winning the Asian Cup, that's the first trophy that Australia's won for the men's game. So that was a bit of history for the country. So that's something very proud of. It was done on home soil. It was done a very unique way. You know, and again,
beating a big team in the final.
Yeah, great team. Went to extra time. We scored the goal in extra time. I mean, yeah, it's a fairy tale, you know. And then from that, you know, we have that qualifying campaign, which was one of the longest in history of FIFA. You know, the most distance travelled.
So many playoff rounds.
Yeah,
right?
you know, and it went to the wire. So that sort of journey, you know, was amazing. So, you know, they're 3 sort of chapters. The Confederations Cup was really cool, because that was the first taste of what Russia would feel like.
That was in 2017, right?
Yeah, and so that was awesome. So, I mean, I guess this was the chapter of the Socceroos, but I can't separate which one was, you know, they're all pretty cool. And we created history along the way, which is, you know, will stay in our hearts. And not only history for the country, but to share it with special people, players, staff, and our country was something that will stay in my heart forever.
It's what are the odds, right? I think I was there at the Hanjabat Stadium when Australia played Syria.
In Malacca?
In Malacca,
Yes.
You remember
that? Syria had to play their home games here, right? And that was part of the qualifying process.
I'm pretty sure that was cowgrass, I think.
That was definitely cowgrass.
It was crazy because I think not too long after that, Syria played Iran at the same stadium as well. And it was pouring and the game could barely be played, and they managed to scrape a 0-0 draw in that game. But yeah, who would have thought after all that years you're back here spearheading the Malaysian project. You spoke about players. Tim Cahill. I mean, that 2014 World Cup goal. It's. I mean, it has to go down as one of the greatest World Cup goals of all time. You know, 20, 30 years from now, I mean, I'm sure they no longer produce DVDs these days, but if they were to do a DVD of a collection of iconic World Cup goals, that would be right in there.
A good celebration to go with it.
Yes, excellent celebration.
That's
phenomenal
his celebration.
Phenomenal player, isn't it?
100%. 100%, and he's scored some big goals for the national team. And there's probably a few goals that you know, the first goal he scored against Japan. The first goal for Australia at the World Cup. You know, he was the first goal scorer. So that's probably a really big goal in terms of his career as well. Then you've got that goal against Holland in 2014. So, I mean, the list goes on and on. He's a special player for Australian football, for world football, special person as well.